good to go.
All right. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. My name is Ryan. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the community room. We are streaming in both places right now. See if you can hear me, if you can see me. Put a VV in the comment section. But we do got Power Hour. So this is where I take your stock picks. Don't put them in the comment section yet. We'll get there in just a moment. It is Friday. The NASDAQ did just hit a new high today. The NASDAQ up 0.5%, so we're seeing some optimism for the bulls as well. We do have Thad in the background. Thad, you want to say hey or can you pop in?
Hey, VectorVest Nation. How y'all doing? Happy Friday.
So, yeah, we got Thad here in the background, like I said. And, I think October 3rd, pretty sure it's October 3rd, but that first Friday in October, I think, is going to be Thad's first time in the saddle to give you some, guidance in the VectorVest 7 system. So don't pick on him too much on his first day. Be nice to him.
Thank you.
All right, let me jump into the program here. All right, there we are. Awesome. All right, so we see the VectorVest market timing gauge. We're 3 ticks into the yellow, right? We had a lot of exuberance, a lot of optimism in the market. Coming off of that inflation report yesterday, well, both reports really, hopefully for a potential interest rate cut. But again, the market's mixed right now. The Dow Jones down 0.5%. NASDAQ leading the charge up 0.5%. And if we take a look, the small caps and mid caps here under some pressure today with the VectorVest composite leading to the downside, about 0.5% down. Yes, 0.47% down. So it is even leading the charge against the Dow Jones to the downside. Amir says, will Glenn come back again to talk? Amir, I am not sure that at all. Depends up to his health, bud. Obviously, we just want him to get better. That's the main concern. If he does and he wants to come back, obviously we're put him back in the saddle. But I don't know, Amir, as far as any time frame. I don't know. Alex, what's up, Ryan? Thank you, Alex. Smack this, VV Nation. How about CRWV CoreWeave? I do like CoreWeave. I wasn't able to.
Hey, I don't think people can see your screen in the community room.
In the community room?
Yeah.
Can you guys see my screen in the community room? Should be able to see my screen. Can you hear me in the community room? Just let me know. Put a VV in the comment section if you can see my screen, if you can hear my voice. In the community room, actually, I don't think they can hear nor see me. Because the community room is having issues again today. So, yeah, I guess they may not be able to see me. Let me try turning my mic off. Microsoft error. Yep, sounds about right for the community room. All right, so I don't know. All right, let's move forward here. We've got the VectorVest 7 system. Let's take a little bit of caution right now. The primary wave is currently up, right? So there's not too much optimism for the bears right now. Alex says IONQ, big move today. Yes, huge moves up 15%. Tonight's presentation is actually going to be on IONQ. That one, qubits, what's the other one? D-Wave, quantum computing. There's 3 stocks there. The moving averages price action was showing me some optimism, but with IONQ's event today, which I did not realize the event today, the optimism came to fruition a little bit better. Let's see here. Peter says RFIL, FTX, BCS for swing calls found them using the NPI enhanced search for the near perfect indicator. What use cases NPI crossing 1 to 3 day versus NPI enhanced? No comments on those searches to know. I don't know if I can necessarily answer that question right now. Amir, great question. Yes, that is a good question, Amir. But again, I don't have that information. How do we find stocks before the big move? You could look for, RT just crossing above 1 as an early indication of a move to the upside. You could look for channeling stocks right now. Yes, in the community room, I don't know how to fix that live. Clay, as far as the community room, other than restarting my computer, which we're already live, so I don't know how that's going to work out.
Yeah, stop sharing your screen on the community room. Open up your mic.
Yeah, error enabling microphone closed.
Okay.
And it, see, let's try this here. Microphone.
Yep.
Now let's try to find a microphone. It still says error. I always get that with this room.
Yeah, I put the YouTube link in there. So.
Okay. Default. Let's try this default one. Yep. It just says error enabling microphone, unfortunately. Oh, all right. Well, yeah, so we're just going to focus on the YouTube side today. I do apologize. The link is in the community room, so hopefully you guys can make your way over to the YouTube side of things. Joey's not here. He's usually in charge of the dual stream, but it's all right. We'll be back in action next week here. All right, see, Alex says, keep in mind you need premium account to use NPI search function. Yes, you will need to utilize, I think it's ProTrader, right? Do you need ProTrader for it? You do need ProTrader for it. Yeah. So if you have a real-time subscription, you will have access to the NPI search, or if you have the additional ProTrader feature there. Michael says if Bollinger Band squeezes inside Keltner channel for a few days, then when the price finally starts moving, it can get a lot of energy. Yeah, so that's another way, right? I was talking about looking for channels. But yes, if you like using star search, right? With those Bollinger Bands, when you see them compressed together, right? It's a lot of built-up pressure. Likes to break out, right? That's usually a good time to start looking at momentum, looking at for potential breakouts, right? Tablet says, I'm ready for my power shower. Power shower. Interesting. Bill says, QTOM does indeed hold IO and Q at 1.5%. Yes, it is a holding there. I don't think it's anymore, but I remember like back when we first putting the quantum watch list together, QTOM, it had some micro strategy in there. Last time I looked, I think they got rid of the micro strategy because I thought that was kind of weird in the first place that it was in the quantum ETF. But just keep that in mind. All right, we got viewers here. Let's create a watch list. Let's go to Power Hour. Let's get some stock picks going. Here, new watch list. Put today's date. And while you're at it, go ahead. What's today's? Is it the 12th? No, it was the 12th. Oh, you know what? That's off my mobile app. Let's do here. Power Hour. There we go. Gold miners have been hot lately. Something golden shadow. Oh, God. Stop it, Peter. You guys are going to be putting time out here. Okay. Maybe I missed it. KRMN, please. All right. Yeah. Give me your stock picks. We got KRMN. NV and VTS. Ryan, we need some platinum fishes that are not up yet. You know what? Maybe if we got some time, maybe we can just do some general, fishing using the software. We can use Unisearch. We can resort stuff. I can show you some, a couple techniques to potentially maybe find a couple fish in the software. There's definitely a lot of different ways to find fish in the software. It just depends on what kind of fish you're looking for, how much, momentum you're looking for, how much, risk tolerance you have. So just keep those things in mind. Not every stock is meant for every investor. NVDL, RNMBY. Oh, they're coming in today. UAMY twice. Nice. I wonder what that one's doing today. Tesla. VST. STRL. AEG. LNG. KMI. Amazon. USAR. I'll put it like this. With the value, and I'm mostly going off the VectorVest value of this, USAR I see as the momentum trade, right? The hype when you get news about rare earth stocks, things of that nature. USAR moves, right? But we look at USAR, look at the value. There's no value here, right? It's down today, right? RS, this is a very risky stock. This thing moves quite a bit. When it moves, it can move. So this would be like my swing trade, momentum trade, rare earth play, right? You can swing trade UAMY, but just looking at the valuation here, you are getting more value. You are getting a little bit better technicals here. So that's why I kind of put USAR more in the swing trading category. UAMY could go for both. It could be volatile for swing trading opportunities, but also there's some value there, right? Well, it's overvalued now, but it was undervalued. Waiting UAMY to break resistance, and then we'll buy more. That's not a bad idea, Troy. Not a bad idea at all. Like I've said, the rare earths, these stocks ain't going around no while. They're literally in the very beginning infancy stage of, pretty much having a rare earth, revolution here in the United States, in the Western countries, right? We're trying to get off China's independence or dependence of their rare earths. All right, but yeah, we got quite a few stocks here. I think I got everybody's stocks in. Let's see, PUK. A couple more came in here. We put these in CRDO. I think someone mentioned CoreWeave. GLW. I think I already have LRN. If you have any last minute stock picks, put them in the list. mRNA. I will say that I just heard something about the news where I guess there's some cases with some kids who potentially died from the COVID vaccine. I don't know, but we'll take a look at Moderna, see how it's responding. But I saw that out on CNBC not too long ago. Peter, UAMY is in the list here with EME and Fix. All right, let's take a look here. All right. See here, as far as value, let's look at the long-term price appreciation. So at the top of the list is where you usually find your investments, right? These are your buy and hold stocks, right? Because this is telling me, this is what RV tells you. If you don't know yet, RV looks at this stock, in this case, we're looking at LRM, compared to alternative investment in a AAA corporate bond over the next 1 to 3 years, right? So just letting me know, hey, should I put my money in the bond? Pretty safe, right? But not a whole lot of yield. Or should I take a little bit more risk and get some appreciation through a stock equity, right? And that's what RV tells me. So if you're a longer term investor, if you're not a trader or anything, RV, good thing to look at. RS, relative safety, right? So if you're focused on safety, you're focused on fundamentals, these are the indicators you want to look at, right? If you're just swing trading, probably RT, fundamentals to just give you a sense of how risky or not so risky that position is here. And let's scroll over to the right here. Actually, let's see what the lowest stock in the database is. So we got 32. So let's expand this out now to 40. All right, there we go. Scroll back to the left here. Let's go to growth rate and earnings. All right, so the bottom. Look at this. We got Arrow, -2. Navitas, I didn't even mention that. Earnings growth rate. -5%. Moderna, negative. Tesla, negative. IONQ is negative. USAR is negative, right? So these stocks, I'm focusing more on the technicals. If we look at the value of these positions, right? Look at Navitas, way overvalued. Fairly overvalued. Way overvalued, way overvalued, way overvalued. So you got way overvalued stocks, not a lot of long-term price appreciation, and not great forecasted data. So literally from here down, I wouldn't put these as long-term positions, right? That's just utilizing VectorVest is just an easy way to say, hey, these are not necessarily long-term positions, right? Now, if there's some RT in the mix, right? We got some RT, some favorable RT, IONQ, Tesla here. Could be some swing trading opportunities, right? So, and right now there's opportunities in the favor of the bulls. If you like to short things, looks like Moderna here. It's actually down 8% today. And I guess it's probably on that news I was just talking about. Like I said, I don't know all the details, but apparently, some information has come out that has linked several deaths, and I believe they were children or minors, to the COVID vaccine, right? So I'm not going to be surprised at all that Moderna is down 8% based off of that news, right? So let's go into the charts here. And actually, before we do that, to the adverse effect, if we go to the top of the list here, growth rate and earnings, all right? See, now these are the ones making the most money, or expected to have the highest growth rate and earnings. You've got AppLovin, UAMY, Credo here. So just to get a sense of what these stocks are, like this one here, pretty prudent, right? You've got long-term price appreciation and safety, not so much, right? It's pretty neutral in the safety rating. UAMY, not a whole lot of safety here, but you got a lot of long-term price appreciation potential. It's pretty volatile in price action. Here's Credo. You're getting a little bit of both, right? You're getting great long-term price appreciation, a little bit of safety there, and some great forecasted data. And as far as, KRMN, taking a look at this position here, way overvalued, poor fundamentals, So the only thing it's got going for is RT, right? So it's a momentum trade right now. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of momentum today, but RT's telling me that there has been some momentum, at least recently, right? So let's take a look at these charts, see what the charts are trying to tell us here. All right, first one up, we got app 11 here. Let's scoot this over to the right a little bit. All right, there we go. We got app 11. Let me get rid of these crosshair bars here. So app 11, you can see the resistance level I had here from about 524 to about 572, pretty big level. But look at the break, clear break way above that here. You know, let's jump into a 6 month. Let's do a 3 month chart. You can see the gap up, optimism going forward here, right? If you want to chase the momentum, hey, that's on you. You can use like a 3 and 8 Bollinger Bands. We all know the routine, right? Otherwise, if you're looking for, you got some patience, you're looking for the retest, honestly, you might want to fill this gap here, right? You see the 20-day EMA going into the gap here. I wouldn't be surprised, So again, if you want to chase it, use something to help capture that momentum. Otherwise, if you got some patience here, I'd look for a retest at this support level, which was once resistance. The stock overvalued. Hey, it's app 11. I'm not too surprised by that. A lot of software companies are. But I do like the value. I see a little bit of life in here. It is rising. Went from about 200 to about 270 here. Let's look at value. 259. RT's continuing to climb. Earnings per share, rocking and rolling. And look at the forecasted data. 49%, 77% on the sales growth rate. I like it. Doubtful on app filling gap. Ryan put options on Open yesterday. Got big win today. I saw Open. Yeah, Open's doing really well. I don't know. I might be tempted to fill that gap. If we do get a little bit of pullback, I'm just seeing, just looking at these last few candlesticks here. Probably right around here, maybe a support level as well, around 561. So if you're looking for a pullback, maybe 561. If we break 561 too much, I could be tempted to fill the gap, but we'll see what happens here. I'm just curious if we go back. So this last gap, it entered the gap, but didn't quite fill it, right? You see that? You see this last gap? So it didn't quite fill it. All right, let's go down to the next position here, but it still looks good overall. Here's UAMY. You can see the accumulation at the 20-day EMA here. Big body candlestick today coming at 486. I like the bottom wick that I see here with this position. Let's see here. And look at value ticking back up here. Value at 364. Because I know value dropped here. And I know we have talked about AREC. That value, last time I looked, it hasn't came back yet. So keep that in the back of your mind if you're holding AREC. But I do like this full body candlestick. I know someone just mentioned on the comment section, about accumulating some more if it breaks out and gets a new high. Hey, as long as price action is rising and value is chasing it at the levels we're seeing, we have seen over the last 6 months here, that's all I like to see. I don't see the stock slowing down anytime soon. I mean, their last contract with the Department of Defense gave them a fixed price on antimony for like the next 8 years. So they've got guaranteed business, and to make sure they keep up with the business, the Department of Defense is helping them build a second smelter, to process that antimony. So still got some good things going for it here. Credo, yeah, if you want to chase it, it's a little overextended for me. That just personal choice, but the momentum is there. I do like the value, not very lively. But literally over the last few months here, look, value went from $21 now to $46. So it's moving right up there. It's not keeping up with price action by any means, but I do like the fact that it's going up. And look at all the forecasted data. Let's get rid of this. All moving up. Look, EPS, big tick up. Sales growth rate as well, a big tick up here. 44%, 274 on the sales side. Man. This stock's got some good numbers. You just got to ask yourself, I don't really like that overextension on the 20-day. I'd wait for some kind of pullback as well. We do have a little gap here. Could potentially fill, but, do a little bit more research on it. But this looks like a really good company. Here's Carmen Holdings. Look at smooth, lower left, upper right. Value ticking up as well. It's forecasted data. All three on the rise here, 41%, 35% on that side. And look at the this aerospace and defense company here, because I know we had talked about that in the last one, bringing your aerospace defense stocks to the table today. And look at this one. RT, ever since it went back into favorable territory here, the bulls are just picking up momentum to the upside. Maria says, got out of UAMY and AREC with profits, not chasing anymore. Since finally learning discipline, my profits is up 18%. Hey, there's some people that don't even have positions up 18%. So be happy with it, right? And as long as you are disciplined and as long as you are leaving with profits, you ain't going to go broke, right? Now, if you watch your profits, fizzle and now you're back into a loss because you have no discipline, which you probably shouldn't be trading, right? Go to the gym, do something to add more discipline in your life. That's going to help you a lot more than listening to me, because you got to have discipline to trade. That's why I keep the indicators very simple. That's why I keep, very simple format here, right? Because most of successful traders really just because it comes on the discipline side, right? VectorVest, we bring you the great stock candidates. We bring you great, useful data that you can utilize for information, but more importantly, you gotta have discipline to make the right decisions, right? You gotta have disciplines to make the right decisions. We can do buy, hold, and sell recommendations till we're blue in the face, right? But at the end of the day, it's just up to you. It's just up to you. Janice says everyone should learn options. Janice, I 100% agree. I know Ron Wheeler, he's doing some webcast over the next, I think next week. He's got like 2 free ones. And then after that, he actually has the monthly income strategy that he uses. So if you're not utilizing options, you're leaving money on the table. I find writing out specific playbooks or specific situations helps a lot when executing with precision and discipline. Hey, coming up with the plan, like you said, a playbook, right? Different scenarios or whatever the scenario may be, if it's in your favor or if it's not in your favor, you got to have a plan in place, right? Because if you buy a stock, you got no plan, and it starts to go down, what's the first thing that's going to happen? Your emotions are going to enter, right? And then that's just a spiral downhill of unsuccessful portfolio-ness. And that was a Ryanism. Here's LRN. I'll say this about LRN. Look, it was overextended, but look, it's coming around that 20-day EMA. So it looks like a pretty good opportunity for accumulation here. Look at the value still rising. When we buy the stock at 244, forecasted data not shabby, 31%, 22%. RT remains in positive territory, so I'm going to remain in favor of the bulls here. Now, if we do take a little bit more of a dip here, we could potentially retest that 40. But otherwise, I see accumulation at the 20 here. I would be a little bit more optimistic than not. Can you explain overextend? What EMAs should we focus on for that? So for example, right, let's just use this here. This looks like a good example, right? So, right, you got one big day, you got 2 big days, right? So price action's at 159, right? So you can chase price action, right? See, it's a little overextended from the moving averages, right? A little overextended than typically what it is. Well, guess what happens? It takes a breather, comes right back to the 20, usually a good time for accumulation, and you see the price action moving. But yeah, anytime I talk about overextended, I'm just talking about the length between candlesticks away from the 20-day EMA, right? Because the further it's extended, the more risk you're taking that stock's just going to come back in the short term and retest those 20 days, right? That's usually why I talk a lot about the 20-day EMA. It's just a very easy strategy. You can see as it breaks away from the 20-day here, it's overextended, so you kind of want to give it a little bit. So essentially, when it's overextended from the 20-day, you're not going to get as much upside potential, right? You're seeing this overextension. It likes to find its way back to the 20-day, right? Let's see here. Drew says, hit the gym and back in time for the power hour. Nice. There you go. What EMA should we focus on for that part? I primarily focus on the 20-day EMA. The 3 and 8 EMA are going to be closer, so you won't see as much overextension from it. And then as well, I do use a 40-day. moving average here. And actually, that's an EMA. That should be an MA. Let's remove this. If you don't know how to add a moving average, I'm going to show you. Just right-click on the price box. Go to Add Moving Average. Choose Simple. Choose 40. Go back down here. Check it off. Right-click. I'm going to change the style. Let's make it this one with some red. There we go. And there's the 40-day moving average. So you can see the EMA one was a little bit closer. And that's why I was saying the EMAs focus on more current data points, right? Golden Child says, I use the 50 and 200. And there's nothing wrong with that. And typically, this is what it is. The more active, like a swing trader, day trader, whatever it may be, is typically the shorter moving averages you're going to use, like a 3, an 8, a 20, right? Now, if you're more of a long-term investor, you're probably going to open that up a little bit more to longer-term moving averages, like the 50 or 200 day, such as Golden Child. So, yeah, great comment, Golden Child. Actually, I'm going to post that one here. But, yeah, if you're a longer-term, Maria says 21, 50, 200 EMA for long. So that's what I'm saying. So, short-term traders, shorter moving averages, right? Longer-term traders, longer moving averages. Now, the only time I would really use a 200-day moving average, because I'm a short-term trader, is if the stock is on a pullback, right? And I'm looking at either levels of resistance or support for that stock. I would use the 200 or a 40-day, looking for pivots off of those moving averages. Even for short-term traders, the longer MAs can be great for trend context. Yes, Michael, that's exactly what I'm talking about, right? Because as a stock pulls back, if you only have the 3, 8, and 20, a lot of action, a lot of pivots typically occur around the 40-day and 200-day. So if the stock's moving up, well, the 200-day or the 40-day is probably not going to bother me much, or matter much to me, right? If I'm an active trader, a very quick trader. But if the stock's moving down, these are moving averages I'm going to have to consider with price action and how price action is going to respond at those levels, right? What about somewhere in the middle? Somewhere in the middle is probably going to be the 3 and 8, obviously very active. Somewhere in the middle is probably going to be like that 20, the 21 EMA, the 40 EMA, 40 MA, or the 50 MA. But yeah, most traders and investors, I mean, there's like 10 moving averages out there, and those are the 10 that everyone uses essentially. And you can see why, because there's typically a lot of pivots around those moving averages. All right, so here we got comfort systems here, and next time, actually, what we'll do is let's add a 200-day. This would be a good example, a good learning experience for everyone. And when I see a stock on a pullback, where actually this comfort systems might qualify. So roughly speaking, the 20 is pretty reasonable moving support line. Yeah, the 20-day EMA, that's on every one of my charts. You will see it on every video I have as a 20-day EMA. Other ones, so these are my list. 3, 8, 20 EMAs. For my regulars, it'll be 40, 50, 100, 200. So that's 7, I think I named. So yeah, 7, like those 7 moving averages. Just, what do you think, Thad? Just about everyone uses them, right? And that's why you see pivots and big moves and things like that around those moving averages, right? Because if you got a moving average, say 16, and no one else is looking at a 16 moving average, well, let me tell you, no one cares about the 16 moving average. So just, keep those out there. Those 7 are definitely ones that you should pay attention to. So like this 200-day, right? Well, if I'm a momentum trader to the upside, this 200-day ain't going to mean nothing to me, right? But if I'm bottom fishing, right, you can see price action here. As soon as it hits the 200-day, breaks it, comes back, retest it, rejection, right? So if I'm going to bottom fish, right, let's go back to 6 months here. You see the moving averages crossed in my favor here, and I got the 200-day right after this. So say I jump up, right, it's this candlestick here, this candlestick. Well, a lot of times, you can get rejection at the 200-day, right? That's why you see price action stay right at this 200-day, for 4 days in a row? And then the bull said, nope, we're in charge here, right? So this is really, if you wanted some solid confirmation of bottom fishing, I mean, the stock was at its high, about 550. So this got us in around 418. I mean, yeah, this would have been more aggressive, would have got you a little bit earlier, but there is that chance that price action could have came to this 200-day and just got rejected, right? So you just got to ask yourself, where you're at with your risk tolerance and things like that. And as we go through the charts here, we'll see how we can utilize that 200-day. But in an up-moving stock, right? And if you're a momentum trader, well, this 200-day way down here, I mean, if that's your stop, you're just going to lose money, right? Or give up everything.
Right, you can't do that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You got to know which moving averages you're looking at and why, right? So in an uptrending stock, a 200-day moving average isn't going to affect me much, right? Maybe here in the beginning on some bottom fishing opportunities. Let's go through these stocks and see some opportunities here. Here's AEG. You can see price action staying above the 20 and the 40 currently. Value on the rise, price action on the rise. Look at the forecasted data. Not too shabby here. We got 25. Sales growth rate. It's kind of the weakness I see here. EPS also ticking up. Ben says many technical indicators are based on the 20 DMA. Did you meant to type EMA? I'm thinking you might have meant to hit type EMA. Charles C. Click on the watch list sort box top left and select from drop down. Let's see here. Ben says 50-day moving average over 200 days. It has been strong since. Oh, you're talking about the SPY? Gotcha. We can take a look at the SPY as well. But as far as this position, you see the 200-day is way down here, right? So, again, for these uptrending stocks, a 200-day is really not going to, be utilized much, right? It's more on the dips. Or get confirmation if you're buying a dip, price action back above the 200-day. As far as forecasted data, though, it's not bad. It's not a bad stock at all. A little gappy for my liking, but not a bad stock. It's an insurance company. So here's another 200-day. Look at this price action 200-day. This is just a healthy moving averages in general. Everything is moving up here. Even the value's ticking up. I know it's not keeping up here. Forecasted data, all three on the rise, 25%, 21 on the sales side. I like it. These major moving averages help keeps your market sentiment in focus. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Drew says, big fan of RS plus CI. I like it. RS times CI. So RS is like the safety indicator of fundamentals, right? Let you know if the company's got good fundamentals or not, right? CI, I kind of describe it as like the safety or the RS of technicals, right? It gives you kind of a sense of safety when it comes to technicals. And Drew put equals money signs. Yes, that is a very popular sort that you can use for, watch lists, the viewers, some kind of unisearch that you might be messing with. It's not a bad sort at all, especially if you're looking for safety. Here is Sterling. You can see Sterling here. I mean, it's going right back into that channel. See, it broke out of the channel for a little bit, came back in, broke out below the channel, retested the 40. You see that perfect retest of the 40, and now it's back up into the channel. Hey, as long as it stays relatively in that channel, I mean, this stock is rocking and rolling, right? As long as it's relatively in that channel, you got to, assess your risk tolerance and how much, maybe give it the 40-day if you want to give a little bit of wiggle room, but it's an ascending channel, so rock it till it doesn't make any sense, more sense, right? Earnings per share ticking up, growth rate, 25%, sales growth rate, not impressive, 5%, but I do like it, just wants to stay in that ascending channel. So if that's what it wants to do, I'm not going to fight the trend on it. Here we've got Amazon. On Amazon, you can see broke its 200-day here, right? Went back above it, came right back down, gapped above the 200-day. So this is a nice retest example here, right? So you see the gap up. Look how far price action is away from the 20-day EMA, right? That's overextended, in my opinion. That's what I mean by overextended, right? So you can see the momentum kind of fizzled out, came right back down, retested both the 200-day and the 20-day at the same time, and then pivoted off of it, right? That's what I'm saying. A lot of these I don't like getting in stocks that are overextended unless I'm like actively trading them, right? There can be potential for profit, but the more it's overextended, a little bit more, not a little bit, but typically there's a correlation, the more risk that you're taking on that you don't necessarily need to. Here's EME Corp. This is beautiful. Lower left, upper right. Let's go back till now. Still looks good. Lower left, upper right. Value, kind of flatlining a little bit, but stock is undervalued. We value the company at $800. This is expensive stock. $600 right now. Forecasted data, 17% here. I can live with that. Rising earnings per share, not a bad stock at all. Here is Organigram. Interesting. It's a marijuana stock. Marijuana stock here, moving lower left, upper right. Again, it's just utilizing those moving averages, right? Just, every time it comes to those moving averages, usually a good pivot time. If we go to 6 months, you could see the trend here. And there's the 200-day. Actually, let me make that bigger because this is a good example. Set moving average. No. Change style. Let's make it bigger. There we go. So you can see price action. Hits the 200. Rejection, right? Comes back down. Hits the 40. Finds a pivot and goes right back up, right? So, again, that's, the candlesticks just pivot off these moving averages quite a bit here. But that's the 200-day. So once price action was able to get above the 200-day, probably right around in here, but a good time to get in is probably around, $1.48 to $1.50 something. Right now, the stock's at $1.65. The value is rising. And like I said, stocks under $2 that are undervalued and with value rising. And it's a health marijuana stock, so it's hard to find value in that space in general. And I know I did a video 2 weeks ago, the Tilray, and I know there's supposed to be an announcement relatively soon on the potential of, changing the classification of marijuana. This is probably what it happened before. You see that optimism here, a little follow through. So if there's any more legislation, not a bad stock to get into, especially, if you want to value play, maybe minimize some of that risk with the marijuana stocks. Not a bad one to look at. Here's Puke. This is Prudential, this insurance company here. I mean, that's a steady Eddie in my book. Lower left, upper right. This could be a core portfolio holding right here, right? This is exactly what you want to see. All the forecasted data is rising. RT's been up in favorable territory the entire time. You got growth rate 21%, sales growth rate outpacing it, almost triple. Actually, yeah, over triple. Undervalued. I actually really like this. PUK, Prudential Insurance. If you're looking for a good core holding, if you need to diversify and you won't have any insurance, this might not be a bad stock to consider here. Here's RFIL. Big bottom wick today. Not quite convinced of this bottom wick yet. Value is creeping up here. You see the 200-day moving average price action broke above it. Came back to retest all of these moving averages, and the momentum is launching. So someone asked before about, how you could find stocks before a potential breakout, right? Well, someone mentioned Bollinger Bands, how they squeeze together, right? Pent up pressure. Well, look what these moving averages are doing, right? They're squeezed together, right? And then you finally got the 20 breaking about above. And you got the that pressure released, right? And that's where that big momentum, parabolic move from about $4 to upwards closer to $6 occurred. So again, if you're looking for a move before it happens, you can always look for a squeeze here. And that squeeze had the 200-day, so that's probably a lot of built up tension. Here's a stock. We got CoreWeave here. I've been talking about CoreWeave. This is a descending channel for the 20th time. This is not a bullish chart pattern, let's say that, right? Now, the whole play was, I've talked about this before, down here, up, down. Oh, actually, it was this one right here, because this is when I realized we were in the channel. See price action moving up, a little bit of rejection. But look what it's catching on these two moving averages, right? Keep an eye on this one. This one here, it might be tempted to break above this descending channel. Not going to lie. This one I would definitely, keep on your radar here. You got RT relative timing. If you want the confirmation, get RT above 1. Forecasted data, it's phenomenal. 19%. And look at the sales growth rate, 207%. A lot of big opportunities going forward with this position, with those kind of numbers here. Here's Vistra Energy, lower left, upper right, price action here, above the moving averages, big body candlestick today. Fresh buy rating of the last few trading sessions. Forecasted data, 19%, 11% respectively. Good numbers all around there. And here's Barclays. This is a banking investment company. This could also be another core holding in a portfolio. I mean, look how smooth the price action is from lower left, upper right. Value just keeps rocking to the upside. Forecasted data all trending higher. Numbers, 18, 20%. Not a bad one at all. Not a bad. I mean, those are good numbers there. Here is Corning. Corning. Again, this is what I talk about, that overextension, right, from the 20. When you get overextended, you like to slow things down a little bit, take a breather. You can see the pivot off the 20 here. I'm going to say a little on the overextended side. If you're in it, hey, maybe use Star Search, 3 and 8, something like that. But as far as the stock itself, forecasted data looks good. It's all rising earnings per share. Value is rising. Yeah, it's trading at a premium, but I do see the value coming into play here. Here's CNX's petroleum company. It's hard to get bullish on petroleum right now. You see the stock is down over the last 3 months. The value is up, though, closer to 45 bucks. Stock's currently trading just shy of 30. You know, I'm not going to do any bottom fishing until RT gets above 1 as well. Maybe get price action above that 200-day. But as far as, you know, a bull case for oil, I don't really see a bull case for oil in general right now. You can see the stock kind of lackluster over the last few months. Forecasted data is great. I mean, everything's on the rise here. 76% sales growth rate, 17% earnings growth rate. Good numbers. Here we've got Qubits. Optimism to the upside, right? Full body candlestick, price action above the 40 now. Look at the 200-day making its way up as well. Yeah, you can see right here. You can see price action and these moving averages condensing closer together with this 200-day. And then that pent-up pressure was released. Right now, I'm going to be bullish on it. And, of course, I'm bullish on it because I did tonight's video is on quantum stocks. So if you don't know, tonight's video is on quantum stocks. IO and Q had an event today. That's why they are up. If you don't know, that's why quantum stocks are moving up. And look at the RT. Finally, back above 1. I even talked about that in the video today. Again, RT above 1. And you can see it's occurred now. So the only thing I say in that video is see some follow through Monday. Definitely some good stocks to look at. And there's a couple quantum stocks this evening as well I take a look at. So if you're interested in quantum, if you're interested in momentum, I see some momentum building here. And you see that coming to fruition. Good stock. See here. Here's RNMBY. Look at the value. That value has just dropped and dropped and dropped. Look at all the forecasted data. Dropped and dropped. Very gappy, this position as well. I don't really like this at all. But yeah, you could see it was undervalued, right? Makes sense. Price action going up to value, but the value is dropping right now. So I'd be concerned about that as well. Look at all the other forecasted data, right? So in this position, I'm going to stick to the technicals. RT is above 1 in favorable territory. So I would be bullish on it short term. But as far as an investment, I don't see a whole lot, see more risk than opportunities with the data I'm seeing. Kinder Morgan, stock's done a whole lot of nothing. It's in its own way. And look at this 200-day moving average here. If we can stay above it, we could probably see some momentum to the upside. But this is petroleum, so I'm not too bullish on that. We got 7 and 12% respectively on the forecasted data. Not bad numbers. Now here's AVL. This is Broadcom, 2 times leverage. You can see the big gap up here. You see the 200-day moving average coming into fruition. As far as this position here, this is my level of support here. If price action breaks much below, was it 61, 65, I would be starting defensive on AVL. But as far as Broadcom, I like the stock itself. It's going to be 2 times leverage, so I imagine this is more of a swing trade than anything. But if I'm looking for the next leg up, I want to find a support around here, 65, 65. You see that bottom wick coming in today. So it could come to fruition, but if it breaks much below this, again, we are overextended from the 20-day, so just be careful. Here's ProShares natural gas short. Look at this. We're seeing a big trend change here. Natural gas broke its 200-day, and now we're actually broke above it, came back, retested it, and now we're back off. So actually, natural gas is looking pretty good here. This is shorting natural gas, it looks like, too. This is LNG. I mean, look at that price action. Lower left, upper right. You can see the accumulation around the 200-day moving averages. People feel like they're getting a deal there, but we do know we only value stock at 176. So Currently trading at a premium. But yeah, as long as price action stays above the 200-day and the 200-day keeps rising, rock with it. But RT below 1, so I be a little bit more bearish than bullish right now. Forecasted data all ticking up. Now here's 2 times leverage NVIDIA. You see NVIDIA under the pressure, but now above those moving averages. Let's take a look at today's price action. It's just trying to find direction. And we had a big gap up here. Taking a little breather right now. But overall, no real concern for NVIDIA. Here is Aero. This is aerospace and defense company here. Look at the valuation. It was way overvalued, but that value is ticking up here. Earnings per share rising. Let's see here. Growth rate negative. Sales growth rate 151. Let's maybe get RT back above 1 just because the stock right now is trending pretty channelish. That's the bottom of consolidation. That's the top. So about 129.20 to about 17.92 is the range we're seeing on this position. So as of right now, RT showing me that the momentum's to the downside, right? So I'm not going to be bullish until RT gets above 1 for this position. Now here's NVTS, the stock I was talking about. We had this ascending trend line here, broke through it. I was looking for this level here around 462. Looks like it found level support before then. It's pivoting up right now, back above the 20-day EMA. I do like that optimism there. As far as forecasted data, they're both negative, right? But I'll be honest with you. Again, I got no crystal ball, but with this 200-day moving in around this trend line here, and if we get any big sell-off in the market, something I'm still thinking that the price actually could come down to that. But yeah, in the short term, hey, play it to the upside. You put a trend line, Bollinger Bands. But if you got some patience, for some reason, I just feel like the stock's going to come down here, and we got the 200-day to catch it. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon because we got a little bit more work for the 200-day to get up. But something's telling me it might go down there. All right, here's Moderna. Look at this stock. Look at the 200-day. Way up here. I mean, this stock keeps going down and down and down. Look at the value. The stock was way overvalued. I mean, it was a COVID play. We all know that. Look at the value, though. It's still overvalued at $23. And look, last time it hit the 200-day, clear rejection. Clear rejection there. So, no, I'm not in Moderna. No, I can't get into it. Not right now. The damage, I don't know if the damage is done. And you're not even in value on it. The value keeps dropping. So, no, I don't like it. He says, Navitas is rising volume. Let's look at volume here. I think volume somewhere here. Oh, yeah. That's showing me some conviction there above that 20-day. Look at that volume popping out. There wasn't much volume here this whole time. But now volume is starting to creep back in. Yeah, that's a good one. Good eye there. Good eye. Ben says mRNA dead. Government done pay. Well, obviously with the new administration and RFK, COVID stocks ain't going to be the play, especially COVID vaccine stocks. We already know how that is. NVTS may be a good short-term play. Amir, I agree with that. Short-term momentum play, get your profits and run. Otherwise, I'm still thinking that 460 level is a good dip in the future at some point. Short it, Moderna, especially with the news that came out today about the vaccine. Do your research. Like I said, I was just a second. I saw it on CNBC. But apparently there's some, I think it was like quite a few cases too. I want to say the number was more than 10. I want to say it was like 15 or maybe 25.
I think it was 25.
It was 25? Okay, yeah. There were some cases there. So that's not good. And
25 kids.
25 kids. And you think the stock's it's just going to be a one-day down day? I don't think so. I think there might be some more follow-through to that, right? If you want the confirmation, wait till the candlestick says L, right? That means we hit a new low. That means we're breaking out to the downside. So if you want to get a little bit more, hey, it is for you. Mike Whaley says, what news came out today? Potential fatalities with COVID vaccines. And Moderna is down, I think, 7% today. I mean, actually, with that news, I might not wait down for the low, right? If that news wasn't occurring, but the news is occurring, right? So if you want some confirmation, just wait till you see a little L below here. And actually, what is the low? 23.15. Maybe you wanted to open up a little bit before then, but the real position, the real confirmation is when we hit the new low, right? As far as any support, I don't think price action from Moderna has been down here in a while. Oh, there it is. Oh, look at that little guy. Yeah, there's actually is going to be some support here coming in. So look at this. Oh, wait, that's way above. Oh, we got to go down even further. We're at 23.55. No. Maybe, right? What is this? You might be able to find something closer to 21.48. But again, that support levels are a long, long time ago, people. So yeah, this would be a better short candidate than bullish. That's for sure. Let's see here. Tabula says, who keeps suggesting duds as stocks to look at when they are dropping like a stone? Well, Tabula, if you're a bearish trader, then that's exactly what you're doing, right? You're only looking for those type of stocks. So hopefully whoever gave me that is not bullish on Moderna or thinking about bottom fishing it, right? Because it's overvalued and there's big negative news that just came out today. Let's see here. Let's keep scrolling down. How many more stocks we got? A couple more. What time is it? 12:51. Perfect timing. Someone gave me IONQ today. I'm not going to talk too much about the quantum stocks. Tonight is quantum video. IONQ is also in the list here. Actually, IONQ is the reason for the video. So this is why I was a little bit more... This is why quantum was on my radar earlier this week here. Because a lot of these quantum stocks were just getting above these moving averages. And usually when the group gets above, that means you're going to get some overall bullish sentiment with the quantum. And I didn't think there's going to be that much momentum that soon. IONQ essentially had an analyst event. It's pretty much like the Apple iPhone release party, but just, IONQ and what they got going on. That was today. You can see investors are enthused about what they had to show today. Big body candlestick, no upper wig, a little wick right now, but we're still right at session highs. So tonight's video is going to be on quantum. Clearly that means I'm bullish on quantum. And I put the three big ones in there. IONQ being one of them. But yeah, it's still good. I mean, the only concern about quantum is just the valuation, right? So I'm not going to go off the valuation on these quantum plays. If you want some value quantum plays, look at things like Honeywell. Well, Microsoft's overvalued, so maybe Google might be one, right? Tabula says, IDR if we have in a second round. Oh, man, we might have a second round. Actually, and USAR, let's talk about this one for a second. Ooh. We were talking about USAR. Look at that ascending channel we are finding support on. So what does that mean? If price action is at the bottom of a channel, it's typically a good time to buy it, right? If you break down below, that's going to be your stop, right? I'm not quite sold on the pivot yet. What's yesterday's high? Let's get above that. Yesterday's high, $14.99. Let's call it $15. Today's high is $14.99. $14.90. Actually, let's call it $15.10 because that looks like a real level of resistance there, right? If we get $15.10 USAR, all you gotta do is just extend this line out. I mean, heck, that's looking like close to $20 there, right? As far as any kind of price target on that channel, right? But yeah, I'm thinking let's take out today's high as well. It's $14.99 yesterday, today. If you want some confirmation, I'm gonna call it $15.10, right? But this is an ascending channel. And you see this thing pivots very nicely, right? So you already know the strategy. If it breaks below the channel, that's pretty much your stop. Call it quits. Hey, is what it is. Otherwise, if it does pick up momentum, and again, the confirmation I'm looking for is $15.10, my price target is going to be closer to the end of this line, right? Now, where you decide to take your profits along the way, that's going to be on you, right? But I will say if it breaks above this channel, if we don't get rejection, we break above it, and we've seen this before with like Palantir, AMD, things like that. You usually get maybe 2 or 3 candlesticks of high momentum after that break before you get a breather, right? How do you find where to place a line to find potential price? Sorry, Peter, it literally depends on what the strategy, what the stock, and all that stuff is, right? But this strategy is an ascending channel. And let me make these a little bigger so you guys can see right? You see the channel, it's moving up, right? And you just play it like ping pong, right? Down at the bottom, you go for a ping, right? Up at the top, you go for a pong. Don't as soon as it stops channeling and going up and down, like say if you bought it to say it hit at 15.10 on Monday, right? And you bought it and say it broke below this channel line. That's where the discipline comes in, right? It didn't work. Hey, it is what it is. But if it does work, my price target is going to be right where this line is, right? That's be about $20 right now, right? And that's getting greedy, right? I mean, it's $15. I mean, that's what, 33% gain there. But again, we are not getting that confirmation right now. But that's how I'm putting my target there, right? Is based off of this channel, right? I mean, hey, if you buy it at 15 and you sell it at 17 for a quick win, that's good. Peter says, speaking in Neanderthal terms with analogies like ping pong, love it. Oh, don't retract that, Peter. You put that statement back in there. Hey, again, I try not to overthink trading. Once you got people here throwing 50 indicators on this chart, you are just in analysis paralysis, right? This is an ascending channel. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. All right, well, what time is it here? We got time for a couple more stocks. 2:56. How about this? I'm going to do a bonus round. First 4 stocks coming across are going to get analyzed, and then we're out of here. IDR. Nice. Hey, sometimes I got to be talked to like a Neanderthal to really understand something, right? I don't have to use fancy words to sound smart, right? FEIM. All right, what's going to be number 4? Apple's number 4. Those are the 4 stocks today. We got 4 minutes. Well, now 3 minutes left. 3 out of the 4. Well, a lot of these stocks. The Momentum's with Hive up 11% today. It's actually now overvalued. This one's overvalued. Actually, this one here is undervalued. That might be interesting. Let's see what the forecasted data is here. All buy-rated stocks. All growth rate earnings in positive territory. I do like it. Let's graph these. What is this guy? We got another ascending channel, right? So this is when I identified the channel right here, this top, right? You see this top? You can see right here. Boom, 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 boom. This is the top of the channel, right? Extend them out. So yeah, this one looks good, right? I will say this, if we get to the top, right, it must be what, 31, 32 bucks, right? Well, look at the bottom of the channel, around 24, 25. You got to ask yourself, am I comfortable if the stock at the top of the channel, if it goes to the bottom, right? That's a big drop, 32 bucks to 25. You do the math on it. That's a big drop. But again, ascending channel. And this one right here showing a little bit more pressure on the upside of this channel. And I'll be frank with you. It's a gold stock. If there's any momentum in gold, I mean, this thing could break outside the upside of that channel. I don't know, but I'm going to be bullish on it. I am. And look, there's the retest on the 20. Didn't even live it there. Gold, I'm been bullish on gold, as far as an investment, a hedge, a swing trade. All the opportunities are presenting itself with gold right now. But this is at the top of this channel. I'm not going to recommend buying it right now, right? It's at the top of the channel right now. If you are holding it, hey, every time it's got rejection, right, it has gone up a little bit more. So, again, it's up to you. But if you want to take some off the top of the table, at the top of the channel, hey, maybe let it come back down and re-enter some. All these decisions are up to you. There's a million different ways to play it. But again, it's like ping pong, right? You ping at the bottom, you pong at the top. Right now, we're getting close to the pong stage, right? But also, if it breaks above this channel, sometimes you get some short-term, parabolic move there. The gold stock, I don't really see that happening with the gold stock, but to be honest, if this was like a software company, AI company, sometimes we can get those moves like we've seen with Palantir or AMD. Oh, Ben, that was a good one. May the Pong be with you. That's a good one. I do like that one. Here's Hive Digital. Crypto stocks. I like crypto stocks. I don't even like them because of the crypto. I like them because of their applications and their usefulness to AI data centers. Think about it. All of these, Ethereum mining companies, Bitcoin mining companies, they're pretty much laid out the exact same way an AI data center is. bunch of hallways of GPUs and a bunch of power and contracts with the utility companies, right? They've already got the infrastructure in place. That's why you're seeing these companies team up with AI companies, right? So you got the hype of crypto, you got the hype of AI, right? And there's going to be some volatility in the mix. So again, try to be on the ping and not the pong, right? But this stock, I mean, the value is there, right? Any crypto stock, and again, this is a cheap crypto stock that's undervalued, should be on your radar. And actually, you should just go to Unisearch, filter it by financial crypto stocks, look for undervalued crypto stocks, and that'll probably put some winners on your radar. Here's FEIM, Frequency Electronics. Lower left, upper right, but today, as the great Glenn would say, it's a poopy day, right? And I'm not even seeing a bottom wick on the 40. I'm getting clear breaks on the 20 and the 40 right now. If you haven't sold it already, obviously you see what the news is. Probably some news around this stock. I wonder if it's earnings. Oh, it was earnings. Nice. So it gapped down. So the earnings probably wasn't good. See the 200-day here at the 20? Maybe with some patience and a little bit of luck, I might go back down there. Well, depending on what side of the coin you are. Like, see, look at that. That's a great entry opportunity. Great entry opportunity. But look, we're a little overextended. Yeah, I'm not a buyer right now. And I don't even know if it's going to hit that 20, to be honest with you. We'll see. If I'm looking for support, I can already see my line. It's going to be right here. Probably a little zone right in here, around 24 to 26 bucks. Right now we're at 28.35. Stock is undervalued. Forecasted data looks good, but just today ain't the day. Today is not the day. All right, last stock, 301. Look at that. Actually on time for once, or at least close to it. Apple, rocking, rolling. You see the moving average? Look, it's back above the 200-day moving average too. So that's a good sign for Apple. Two big body candlesticks in a row. I do got a little bit of resistance coming up around 236. Right now it's 234, but it's Apple. The moving averages are moving in a bullish manner. I like what I see here. Forecasted data, 9, 10% respectively. EPS on the rise. Now, the only thing I say about Apple, it's just overvalued. Investors are paying a premium for it, and hey, that is okay. As long as the stock is trending up, play to the trend, right? You see the RT? It's been in favor now. If we zoom in here. Yeah, as far back as May 27th, when the stock was $200, and now it's at 234. All right. Well, we did a lot of stocks today. That was quite a bit. I think that was 30 stocks, I think. Nice. Well, everyone, thank you for joining today. Again, we had Clay in the background. We got Thad over here. I think he's going to be hopping in the saddle October sometime. So we'll definitely, again, be nice to him. Be easy. And, just like me and Glenn, we all kind of find our own way. And I'm sure he's got his own graph layouts and stuff. And, we'll adapt over time. But I've known Thad for a long time. And he's definitely very knowledgeable, not only with the system, but also with trading in general. All right. So everybody enjoy your weekend. Tomorrow, we're actually going to have some fun here. Is the VectorVest summer picnic at the quarry down the street. So we're going to have some fun this weekend. Everybody keep Glenn in your prayers as we saw him last Friday. Just the amount of improvement that I've seen Glenn since the first time I see him just really, brightens up my day seeing him like that.
Supposed to be there tomorrow.
Is he?
That's what I was told.
Oh, shoot. So if I get a photo with him at the rock quarry, and if it's okay with him and management, maybe I can share it with you guys next week. But it sounds like I'm going to hang out with my boy Glenn tomorrow, be able to eat a hot dog and a hamburger. So I'm excited about that. On that note, I am out. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.
Brian, you get an